I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I would look for a motion to approve today's agenda with the exception of number 7. There are no payroll changes, so I'll strike number 7. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve today's agenda.
Second. Motion second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Item number 3 is the minutes for March 11th. Look for motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we got claims for March 18th. Total was $184,152.88. I assume everybody's reviewed those. Is there any questions? If not, I'd look for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve the claims.
Okay.
Second.
Motion second. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, meetings attended. Scott, what do you got?
Oh, well, we had the assessor public hearing. There was something else now, I can't think.
Yeah, 61.
Don't worry, you get one.
Oh, yeah, the 61 coalition. Oh, I forgot to bring that paperwork in. There wasn't really anything earth shattering on it. They kind of had a timeline. They're thinking about starting to buy the right of way down here in 20 or the fall of this year. They're thinking they'll have it completely done by 32. They're gonna do basically from Newport to the cemetery area probably in one phase. And then they said there'll be a lull between that and starting on the river bottom area. So
Are they gonna come up from the Grandview area up first? Or are they gonna do that all in one big swipe?
they didn't really talk about the Grandview area, I guess, but so I don't know if they'll do that at the same time they're doing the river bottom. I think that, so there was like A, B, and C, and that C was kind of everything from the river bottom out, so I think that's all in the last phase. I think 200 million is what they estimated for this stretch.
Who knew it was gonna be bad?
Yeah,
That's why we're last.
yeah, exactly.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and then, so then they, I believe they nominated me to be the chairman of that board.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know anything about it.
Usually it's the guy that doesn't show up.
Yeah.
That's nominated.
Yeah. Well, I think that was about it on last week.
They will start picking up some steam once they get the properties bought, and there'll be a lot going on.
Yeah.
The only meeting I attended last week would be the assessor's public hearing.
Okay, well, I did that as well, and we got through that okay. We did public health. We just here to talk about that today. I don't think there's any too major there. And we had an EMS meeting last Thursday in Oakville. Look at Oakville's new ambulance. They have that in service. Unfortunately, none of the Oakville people could attend because they were fighting a fire down in the bottoms of Oakville at that particular time. But we did go over some stuff, and yeah, everything seems to be going well. So. Okay, item number 6, public input. Anybody from the public have anything you want to address the board with? No? All right. 7 struck. 8 is Adam. He's not here yet, and he'll probably have the Windstream stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait for it. Yeah, there he is. You just about threw my entire agenda off. We were at you. Now, I almost
They
had to
went really
skip
quick, I'm
you
sorry.
and like 3
There was
things.
no.
ADD was
Where's the
kicking
college?
in.
Didn't put something, freak out. Let's go.
All right, you're here, you're up.
Here I'm up.
Yeah.
I guess first thing there are these three, permits. This is Windstream putting, fiber into homes, along Old 61 from Grandview city limits west and then up to the brick house at the end of, Old 61 before it turns into 160th. Another one south of town along High Avenue, down south there ways, going out to 128th out by where Brad used to live out that way. That's all pretty standard. And then, another one, 145th west over to L Avenue, south down past, Bill Diekman's, if anyone knows where that is. Not a lot, of interest here, in gravel roads, we generally let them place the cables within the roadway. Underneath the gravel, it's kind of easier for us there. Provided they bore under all of our culverts and that, or if it's a big box, they have to go down the ditch and around, or bridge, they have to go around. Looking through their plans, they kind of missed a few things, so I'm gonna get them to update them. I don't have a problem with you guys approving them, but I can take care of the updates and that, so. I'm not sure what the big push is, but I know they've got another push, for next week with another mile or so. So there's lots of, I don't know if say, granting that they're getting, and they're just finally getting around to them. We'll kind of have these in spurts. That'll be nothing for a while, and then all of a sudden we'll get a bunch, so. Again, I'm not a huge fan of the company, but they are expanding coverage, so.
Is it high speed internet? Is that what it is? or something?
It says 12 cable, so I don't know, I don't know. They got, I think this one is 19,730 feet of buried 12, 24, and 48 TP. Yeah, so it's high speed internet, so. And I do think that's a good thing, so.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and approve those after you're done with your little thing here. So what else you got? Anything for the county?
Nothing much. I was up a couple times. We did have a unexpected snow on Sunday. Maybe didn't get out there till late. I know, Terry been keeping track on the weather and all of that, and this kind of weren't ready for it, but we put the plows back on and went out and we got her done on Sunday morning, so. Other than that, we are mostly doing rock now and blading, so. It's going on. We do have a safety meeting tomorrow, to get our, river products safety training stuff done, but not a lot of things going on, so.
I've been noticing the roads are bladed and they're doing a dang good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did get a call yesterday from guys complaining that we're putting too much rock on the road. And I said, honestly, this is the first time I've ever had this call. Turns out he likes to drive a motorcycle on gravel, and I can understand that. I mean, that's not a real concern, but.
Fresh gravel is always a little loose for
Yeah,
a while.
but especially now, it's gonna get worked in the ground pretty quick, so. Is what it is, and I've had a couple of people asking me, why are you guys hauling so much rock up north and west of Junction? I'm like, well, because we're trying to get it done before the road closes, so. My understanding is that road closure could be April 1st, or it could be June 1st, so. There's some utilities around Columbus that haven't gotten moved, or maybe they're not putting best effort to it. I don't know for sure, but
Where I had it was from, they're very close from April to September now, but you know how that changes.
Yep, so. Went to detour meeting Tuesday, I believe, up in Junction, and that whole thing's gonna be a mess, but it's part of getting through the process, so.
Gonna be tough on those businesses that are on that road.
And Wednesday, got over to the Highway 61, coalition, looks like, all of the money to complete the Wapalos stretch has been committed. Almost $200 million, I guess. Gonna see some right-of-way purchases, and I know we've have had surveyors in doing work on that, so. It's supposed to be a public meeting this summer, in July, I believe. It isn't set yet, but, things are gonna start happening this fall and next winter, and talking 2027, there'll be a grading project.
The public meeting in July will be, this is the final print, this is where we're going.
This is where we intend to buy right away, is essentially, I don't think it's gonna be plats, but there's gonna be some maps. Hey, here's where we're gonna take from, here's where we're gonna buy the whole thing, here's where we're gonna buy part of it, yada, so. My understanding, the route is set, the accesses are all set, it was mentioned that we were able to get some things that maybe other communities hadn't, so I'm happy with all of our efforts. It's
And we
not gonna be perfect, but
we can get some things that we wanted too, so.
yeah.
Adam, did you hear anything about the Hoover Nature Trail and the 61?
No.
Okay.
Is there? Yeah, no, what? Oh, there was one time, there was a question about getting across the
Yeah.
highway. I believe that will be incorporated in the overpass over. So west of town, right? 5 Mile Lane is gonna go up and over the highway. So my thinking was there would be a widened shoulder or something there, but
Cool.
I don't know for sure.
No,
So,
that's all right, we can.
So other than that, any questions for me, anything going on? We do have bids out for office cleaning and for the concrete work, so. Yeah, anybody asks about it, especially on the office cleaning, we've had a few people come by and ask for it, so.
If not, we'll go ahead and move on to 9, 10, and 11. I'm gonna do these separately. Instead of blanket them all together, because they're on there separately anyway. So item number 9 is approve the Windstream Iowa Communications application, to bury a cable north side of Jackson Street, which is Highway 252, and north on the east side of Old US Highway 61. And look for that motion.
Motion.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 10 is another Windstream Communications application. This one is along Avenue L, J Avenue, and 145th Street. And look for that motion.
I'll make a motion to
Approve.
approve that.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item number 11 is another Windstream application. And it is on Avenue 128th Street and 130th Street. Look for that motion.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, all three done. Need some signatures. Yeah, not the end of the. When we did it.
Yep.
March
18 feet.
Okay.
One of them.
Can't live without. Like, I don't
One boat would leave, you like said.
I'm still gonna call like Saturday and Sundays. I don't know how much time necessarily right away. I mean, usually I do, but sometimes. I must call.
There you go. Thank you. We're working on it. Keeping our eyeballs open on stuff, don't worry.
Whatever.
We see it. Hey, you know.
Cool. Cool. I will probably have the 5-year plan next week, so I'll probably, yeah.
So I don't be here, so.
Okay, try and 4 minutes or something like that, so. Which we used to come out to the office and do it, but we come to here.
Will you have any docs so I can forward? that to them? Thank you.
I'll get them, so, thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, item number 12 is Cindy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So for our February numbers, phone 59'9", and the mobile food pantry was February 26th, and it'll happen again next Wednesday, March 26th at the Brick Center. The food pantry, the Southeast Louisa one here in town, February had 27 households and that was 62 individuals. And for Salvation Army, our income was boosted by the pecan sales that were at the farmer's elevator through the winter season. And so we just received that check for $1,200. So that was a pretty good boost. And then just been doing lots of shredding in the office, cleaning out files and getting things rearranged. So.
Great.
Any questions?
I have one. It wasn't here, but I know of a single woman that was struggling a little bit, had teenage boys, or she works all day, and she couldn't get to a food pantry. Is there any provisions for people that can't make it during the day?
Yep, absolutely. All they have to do is call me, just like any other appointment, and she would voice that to me that, hey, I work 8 to 5, and
Okay.
we would set up an appointment for 6 or
Okay,
weekend or whatever's,
okay,
somewhat convenient for her, but somewhat convenient for us,
yeah,
being me or the volunteers or Kathy, the director.
okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Item number 13 is Jacob. We got,
In the EE world, they just completed all of their inflatable planetariums. They have this giant room that airs up, and then they have a projector with all the stars and planets and cool things you can swipe with your phone, and you can see different constellations and zoom. It's a very neat thing. That was brought to us by the AEAs, north and south of us. So big thanks to them for that. That was every kindergartner through 5th grader in the county. Got to see all that. So big undertaking for them, but they pulled it off flawlessly. They were also able to purchase an accessible archery stand. So with National Archery in the Schools program, NASP. It's put on by the gym teachers in all the schools. And so they use our equipment. I think it may be our equipment. To all the kids get to then shoot archery. I think 2 or 3, 4 times in the month. So great, awesome stuff for that. But some students have, disability, accessibility stuff. So we bought a stand so that way they're able to just pull it back. They don't have to hold and aim all at the same time. All you got to do is sit there and then you pull it back and you can aim and let go. It's super neat. That was brought to us by a grant through Louisa Community Foundations. So super awesome to have that. We were able to use it this year at a couple different places. So yeah. I have been in the shop helping Tanner get ready for spring, putting the finishing touches on stuff. In general, the shop we're transitioning from maintenance to more parks, getting ready for spring, making things look nice instead of tearing down and rebuilding at this point. All the equipment's ready to go. Mowers, skid steers active today. We've been doing some prescribed burning on the good days, not like on the other days. Tanner has also completed his DOT portion of the CDL. So he'll be ready to go. He'll be able to drive our skid steer on our trucks and trailer. And we're going to send him to Northland CDL to do the driving portion and skills and to get the ELDT class, which is a new thing. I'm not sure if you guys know about it, but it's an extra layer of classes that you have to take to get your CDL that's outside of just regular like courthouse testing. It's a 40-hour week class. He's taken it online thus far in the past week or so. And then he'll go and do the skills for it. But just to drive our skid steer to a park. Oh my goodness. But also in that, he'll be able to drive in secondary roads equipment. So if there ever needs to be like emergencies or, you know, our equipment breaks down and we need to borrow a truck or vice versa, we'll be good to go there. So, we have also hired all of our interns for this summer. They are Emily Hemphill. She is from Morning Sun Wapello area. Her sister worked for us a while ago and now she applied to do the same job as she was doing and like she'll be a good fit. Breland Randall is the other naturalist intern. She was here last year and she did a good job. So she was invited back. And on the maintenance side, we have Luke Perkins. He is actually on April to October. And so he's coming on, I think April 7th or 8th, somewhere there. He's coming back from vacation. So, and then Mason Cooley is our 3-month seasonal. He'll be mostly on a mower, but help us with projects as the need arises. That's all I got.
Well, you're burning done. We still got some.
No, yeah, we still got a lot to go. If the weather allows it for it. We've got a burn plan maybe this Thursday, as long as there's a storm Wednesday night, so we'll see how that goes for Thursday. But we're gonna burn the Morning Sun Elementary Prairie. It's a good quarter acre maybe, but our naturalists go in there and teach about prairies to the students on rotation the morning, and then in the afternoon we'll burn it. And so it's a really good education experience for everyone. They've been working out in the prairie. We brought loppers and they're able to clear out some of the brushy stuff. And we're getting a really good buy-in, I think, from the school. I'm really liking it.
Child labor.
I didn't say it.
Okay, great. That it?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Very
Thank
good.
Yeah, any questions? Okay.
Item number 14, Leah.
Yeah.
You're up.
Okay, so let's see, 2 weeks ago, I attended a regional, what they called MRSE. It's a medical response surge exercise. It was a tabletop exercise. We ran 3 different types of scenarios, tornadoes, chemical spills, and then like a pandemic disease. So this was our healthcare coalition across the region came together and did that. Partially virtual, partially in person. We were all at different satellite areas working that together. Our coalition had hired, I'm now going to forget the name, but they were an agency that comes in and does the scenario for us and kind of helps us work through that. So that was pretty good. Working on the after action report on that right now. So good for planning, good for getting that out. And then I'm also going to be attending the Quad Cities Disaster Conference next week. So lots of preparedness going on. Next week also, Iowa HHS is doing a town hall for local public health to give us an alignment update. So we'll have more information after that. Hopefully we'll get a really good, clear picture of where things are going after that. So
We've been talking about that for a long time.
slow process. We want it to be slow though, because the slower we go, the better we'll be at it. So no need to rush it. Gearing up for spring vaccines at school. We always try to get those in every year, getting 7th graders and kids going into their senior year. There's required vaccines, so we like to do a school clinic. We weren't able to do them last year as we were transitioning to VaxCare. So working through that process, getting ready to get that out in the schools. Last week at the public health meeting, there was a acceptance of service policy on the home health side of things put into place. This is a requirement from CMS. So we now are up to date on that. And then we've also posted on our website our criteria for accepting home health patients. So. And we also discussed the public health has a trailer that was given to us with the purposes of if we ever had a large scale event that we needed to be at, that we could load up our carts that have all of our supplies on them, those things we needed, we could take the trailer and go. EMA had expressed some interest in sharing that trailer with us. Board of Health approved that as kind of be a shared deal.
It kind of felt like if there was a major disaster, both
We'd be there.
entities would be there anyway, so.
Yeah.
Trailers largely unused, so yeah, EMA, I think, is gonna put a little bit of money into it.
That's all I have right now.
Right? Any questions for Leah?
No,
Okay, you got off light this time.
thank you.
You know who's next?
Am I next?
You're next. We're waiting. The bated breath.
Oh. Not that exciting. Morning, everyone. I felt this month is back to our, kind of normal, weather's breaking, people are starting to get out and about and come see me. The 32 or 320,000, I haven't gotten an update from the state and the Department of Veteran Affairs Fed for a little bit. They're having firewall issues. We are supposed to get a list of all the veterans that have gotten out in the last 30 days from DOD through the Idaho Department of Veteran Affairs, and they're having firewall issues. So it just, I don't know why all of a sudden, but it's been 8 months since we've gotten that. There are actually 28 pieces of legislature that affect veterans at the Capitol, and one of them that is going to make that a law that we have 30 days to contact newly discharged veterans with where the county office is and the benefit that they can potentially receive. Moving down to county assistance. Or budget rather, that is 44%, but that doesn't include the county assistance. Well, it does include it, but it's I'll probably get to the end of the year and still have money in those accounts. Because I can't, if people don't want it, I can't give it to them. And we're just not having people come.
Well, we made some changes.
We made some changes to the policy. We went from 3 months a year to 1 month a year.
Right,
And
for assistance.
for assistance, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, they were still eligible to come get it.
Yeah.
But they let them not to. We had a couple of deaths in the last few weeks at the Wapello facility. We're down to a total of 18, and most of those, 2/3 of those, are actually veteran widows or spouses of vet. Under quarterly assistance, there was $57 that went out. That's not shown there. It's not much assistance as far as food goes. It's the more people in the household, the more it goes up. But 57 is for individual person. Training, I mentioned it last month. I'll be gone next month for better part of a week. Also want to mention that tonight is the association is offering online training for the commissioners. If typically when there's training for commissioners, it also is open for the supervisors. So if you would like to dial in and just hear the conversation, or if you have any questions, I can get you those links. I didn't think about it till just this morning.
What time?
It's 7 or 7:30. But I can email I'll go ahead and email all of you with that link anyway. And then you can, if you have time and choose to, also with that, in the fall, when they do the, fall school, the first day is actually open for commissioners and supervisors to go, and, the money comes out of my pocketbook, so. The van, pretty busy, right, with four trips, for 3 different veterans. We have 5 volunteers that are signed up. We really only have 2 that drive 80 to 90% of the missions. It's a challenge to get others to step up and volunteer to drive. Andy Beaver, the first VSO for the county, he used to drive. And I've thought about it. There's some hoops I'd have to jump through, but every time I'd be driving, I wouldn't be in the office. And to me, it just seems like wasted county dollars. As far as outreach goes, tomorrow I work in Morning Sun, American Legion, for an hour or so there in Morning Sun. Last week, I believe it was last week, I was with the VFW here in town. Week before that, I met with the Legion in Columbus Junction. I'm working right now on the new Facebook page, and I'm going to send each of you, if you have Facebook accounts, or requests, friend requests, so you can see what's going to happen on it. I'm not going to have a lot of activity on it, but I want to try to connect with all veterans in the county, so at least there's another venue of contact with them. And then finally, the signs. Adam was here earlier. I heard his voice. The state is not, they're kind of pushing back on having signs out on 61 for us. They said that there's no other county that has signs like that. But yet you drive around.
We're not like every other county.
But so Lee County just moved their VSO office. The state put up new signs for it. So it's like, how can you say that there's no county that has it when you just did it? So, kind of pushing back on that, but I did, we've come to an agreement for the general assistance, office, my office, and then, we had the idea, do we put a third one on for board of supervisors meeting location or whatever it would
I
say.
think that would be wise, and I think this is where our home's going to be. We're gonna kind of expand the seating area, so.
Right.
So it's always kind of up in the air since I've been here on where we stay, we need a bigger spot, but I think we're gonna make this home spot.
Yep. So I just don't know what, you want that sign to say, and then I can communicate to Adam. Let's move forward with those 3.
The supervisors meeting room, that doesn't sound very professional.
That's what I thought when I said it. Or just board of supervisors. When you're here, you're here.
Yeah.
And then people could always walk in when the door's open and they say, well, where are they at? And we answer those questions for each other anyway.
Yeah,
So the meetings are Tuesdays and
Tuesdays, yeah.
whatnot.
and then, here's their numbers if you need to
Right.
email them or contact them.
That's all I have. Without any questions.
How's the van doing? Any idea on the mileage?
I can go.
Yeah,
Find out, yeah.
next report was keep our opinion
Yeah.
on that. But
I do have some money in the budget for maintenance support. Recently had tire repair, and I'll look at mileage and see if we need to do an oil change and whatnot. Typically, Aaron Holmes does that for us. I have to kind of arm wrestle with him to get a bill. He likes to volunteer, but at the same time, I have money that I have to spend. So,
interesting.
trying to get that point across to him, let us pay for the services that you're doing.
We appreciate that.
Yep. Anything else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, Vicky, you're number 16.
Okay, well, Kevin came to me and asked me for a cost analysis on driver's license, so this is kind of his baby. He started this one. I want him to know if we actually made money on driver's license, and we don't. I mean, because if you take into account, I averaged hours, you have those reports up there of the time we spend on the phone, giving written recalls, drive tests, everything we do for driver's license. It's a very time consuming process. And that's not all we do in our office. We do miscellaneous receipts, motor vehicle, property taxes. And so the driver's license has been starting to take up a lot more of our time. The DOT is pushing a lot more onto the counties. I'm not promoting getting rid of it because I think it is a very good customer service. However, I've had a big turnover in staff in the last 5 years, not saying that that's been the only or main reason that they've all left, but I do know that it is part of the reason that a lot of them left because it is highly stressful. The DOT has now authorized it that if we have a citizen that wants to take a drive test and they don't speak English, they can take a translator with them. So therefore, we're putting ourselves in a vehicle with someone not only that we don't know if they can drive, but they don't speak English and they have an interpreter sitting behind us. So we're outnumbered by people that don't speak our language in a vehicle. I don't like that, but unfortunately in our 2080, we have to do it. There's a lot of different things. Kevin came to me and asked me about this and, had said that I think Taylor Collins had mentioned, with all of our budgets and our everything, we need to start looking at getting rid of services that don't make us money. This is one that doesn't make us money. I'm on the fence on this one because losing a person made it 150 times harder in our office to get everything done and keep our employees from not wanting to walk out that door after being yelled at and berated by some of the customers, which happens quite frequently. So I'm on the fence on it. I don't want to get rid of it because it is a very good customer service. However, they do have Mount Pleasant, Burlington, Muscatine. There are a lot of places not far that they can also get the service. So it's your ultimate decision whether to get rid of it or not, because you signed the 2080 agreement. So I'm just here basically to give you the information on where it is putting my office. I don't want to lose any more employees. I have a very awesome staff right now. However, if it doesn't go away, we are going to have to cut back even more to try and get training done to keep up with everything else. Because there's things we have to put on the back burner every day that we don't get done because of phone calls can take 5 minutes or they can take 40 minutes. Because we have a lot of language barriers now. We have a lot more people coming into the county that don't speak English. And we use a translating service. However, just like English, we have slang. Each of those languages has a slang. And so the translating services don't always work. So therefore you go back and forth trying to say words in a different way to make it work. So sometimes these things, just to make an appointment, will take 45 minutes. So it is a very time consuming thing.
So the two papers that I have here, which is last year, negative 13,000.
That is actually positive. It says negative because it is our projected
Okay.
revenues. So
But we don't have the wage offset on this.
no, that's what that spreadsheet that I did, there's an Excel that was with it. You should have had 3 sheets.
This sheet.
And I did, because Kevin had come to me and asked me to do that. So what I did was I took all 4 of us that work in the office, I took our salaries, added them together, divided by 4, and took the average salary of the 4 of us, and then kind of figured in the average of the phone calls, the appointments, the
Yes,
recalls.
37 from 13, yeah.
And I didn't even average high, because I'm sure it takes more time than some of that. But it does show like a loss of, I don't remember, 23,000.
$23,408.60.
I mean, and that's part of an employee's salary. My one thing is, I told Kevin when he, discussed possibly trying to get rid of it, I cannot lose another employee. And when we took over driver's license in 2000, we did not take another penny to do it. So I do not want to see our staff, our pay cut, because we didn't take another dime to do it. We took it on our pay and did the extra work. So those are my two things I will ask.
I think at our last department head meeting, I kind of set out the warning that the stuff that we're getting from the federal government and the state is all reducing government. And I kind of warned everybody, it's like, we're gonna have to shrink government here. I can see the handwriting on the wall.
And I hate it.
23,000. You know, I don't want to lose a service either, but you
Well,
know, you gotta look at this stuff.
besides the 23,000 and some dollar loss, they're struggling with the staff they have now to keep that station even available at times it needs to be available. So hiring another person when you're already losing $23,000, to me is out of the question.
It just makes it worse.
Yeah, and the other issue I have is that I really don't like that one of these ladies has to go climb in a car with this total stranger and take off on a drive by themselves. You know, where else would we ask a lady to do that? You know, I mean, I just don't.
The program you're looking at here, is it just driver's license or is it renewal driver's license? Is it the whole?
It would get rid of the whole
It's the whole thing.
DOT driver's license station.
Because the 2080 agreement won't allow us not to do drives and just do renewals. It's all or nothing in their 2080 agreement.
I remember when I got my license, DOT was up across the post office, and they were like every Thursday,
They came like
once a week.
once or twice a month.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like every
Yes.
other Thursday, and
Yeah.
if my birthday happened to hit on a part where I had to wait almost 2 weeks, and it was painful when you're 16 years old. but-
It is, and that's one of the things I like about having a small, I mean,
Right.
we've been, you know, but it also,
But
Well-
you loaded them up and took them to
Yeah,
Muscatine and
but-
got it done too.
Like when I was a kid, that was how it was, but back then you just didn't go to Burlington or somewhere all the time. Now people are there
Jump in a car.
all the time. It's nothing to go somewhere like that, so.
Did anybody ever look at how many people you service in that area? I mean, you know, population of Wider County is
we,
11,000 people, is it? I mean, how many do you service?
I can get numbers for exactly how many we do. We
Is it-
service people from Muscatine and Des Moines County as well. We have a lot of people come from those areas. We even have people come from Clive to do drive tests here, which I don't agree with because they're not driving in the environment they drive in, but the DOT said we can't stop them. So we have people come from all over to come here, but they have 80 some other stations in the state they could go to as well. I don't want to see people not come because we do get a lot of compliments on my staff and how everything is handled by them and everything. And I'm on the fence on it, and I'm not promoting getting rid of it, but I'm also not going to fight you on it because it's your decision. And I do see, since we were cut an employee a year ago, the additional stress it has put on the office and my employees.
Well, it should make a difference whether you're serving 20,000 people or you're serving 500 people. That'd make a big difference too.
Well, it won't make a big difference in the losing money because the state only reimburses. The state only reimburses.
$7 for each transaction. However, that doesn't mean phone calls. That's not written
Right.
tests. That's not drive tests. That's just when we issue a credential, we get $7. So that's where the
Well, they might
loss
have
is.
2 hours wrapped up in getting a $7 reimbursement, you know, so it's just.
I get that, but it's still a service for the community, people's paying taxes. I'm not talking against or for it, I'm just saying it makes a big deal how many people use it. I know that's probably more of a loss to more people, but it's still
Well-
a service for the county.
Couldn't you take that 13,000 and divide it by 7? Would that
It
be
gives you-
accurate?
well,
I mean, it'd be.
The 13,000 is our percentage of what we took in. There's more than that because the state gets the majority of the money.
Okay.
So I'd have to go back and get the state's portion of it. That's just the county portion because that's the only portion I was asked to give, but I can get the other for you. And we have reports we can run. It would take some time. to get an average of how many written tests we do and how many drives we do and how many, but you're never gonna have the number of phone calls we're issuing and the number of people that come in over the counter that wanna know what they need to bring in to get their real ID and what they need to do because their license was suspended in another state and they've got, all the different scenarios that take, like you said, an hour to deal with. None of that's on paper. So that's just a matter of us keeping track of it and bringing it to you.
Well, I basically asked about this because if you're gonna start looking at areas to help us out budget wise, you have to look at areas that are bleeding. And this is one of them. And I know it's a great amenity to have. But at the same time,
The state's gonna come down on us next year too. We're gonna have to find interesting ways to balance this budget, and still keep afloat, so. Nobody likes it. But, our job is pretty much financial here,
right, and
and we gotta.
the other thing we have to remember too is that, are you scheduled into April now?
We are scheduled 2.5 weeks into April. So if you make the decision, we just have to find a date that you are going to say, we're not going to do it after this date because I need to stop our scheduling for that date and I need to get everything started with the DOT and get signs and notifications out to let people know. I'm gonna put a voice, if we do it, I'm gonna put a voicemail on my phone that when it answers, it tells people, that it's no longer gonna be here after this date so that they are aware. I want to get the word out, but that's it, only if you decide to do it. I would need to know, like, if you want to cut it off May 1st, then I wouldn't start another schedule, or June 1st, or whatever date you decide, so that we can get our scheduling set up. Because they want to come and recertify the two of us that do drives in a week. And if we're going to get rid of it, I need to let them know because we really don't need for them to have to drive all the way down here and go through that whole process. They're also going to be bringing us new DOT equipment to issue driver's license the 20th of this month. If you're not going to have us do it any longer, I need to let them know to not bring that. There's lots of little things I just need to deal with. So
You can't get a renewal online now, too, can you?
you can renew online once, and there are restrictions to that, vision, medical things that it will tell you whether you can renew or not, but you can renew once online. Then the next time you do have to go into an office, but yeah, that is an option. And there's lots of things that can be done online, testings for instruction permits can all be done through the parent. That's all done through the DOT. Yeah, there's a lot of that now.
I can almost guarantee next budget season, we're gonna have to find a lot more than $23,000 that we're gonna have to cut, so. Table it, talk about it a little bit, or you wanna get some numbers and figures? I'd like to know, I guess, how many local people versus out of town or out of county people.
And I know I have some sheets because we kept track of that for a while, and I have a folder with some of that in it.
Interesting
So
just to know.
it's probably not gonna be like these current couple months, but I have like, I think probably 8 or 9 months
I
worth
don't
of sheets.
think
and
it
things.
changes much,
It's pretty, I mean, yeah, pretty consistent.
I guess I'd like to know those numbers. Local versus out of county, how that would impact that. And, I mean, obviously we know how it impacts our budget. And the sooner if we do decide to stop it, the sooner it plugs that bleeding hole.
So we can have that information by next meeting. Next week.
Yeah, I can get it compiled and have it to Susan by the end of the week.
And then we can put it on the agenda for next meeting and.
Do you wanna
some
know,
kind of
do
decision.
you want me to get you a few numbers on how many tests we do, that kind of stuff
I don't think
that he
it'll
asked about?
give us what you got and
So, if we
make an informed decision.
say if we did get rid of this, how you were lobbying to get that person back this budget season, so you'd be good with your staff you got now if we got rid of this?
The word good would probably not be the word I'd use, but we could manage it much better, much better. I mean, with 4,
Yeah.
without the driver's license, because the driver's license is a very time consuming animal. It's just getting worse because the DOT is pushing more and more down on the counties. They just told us at our meeting last week that now every CDL credential, 2 people are gonna have to be involved in every transaction and have to initial that they looked at all the documents for it, even a renewal or a medical cert that they bring in, everything. And if there's only one person there that can do it, then we have to send it to the state and wait till they approve it before we can finish the transaction. It's just, they just keep giving us more and more of their work to do at our level, and it's just getting worse.
We all know about
Yeah, I mean,
the state pushing stuff down.
yeah, it's not anything new to anybody, it's just continuing. So,
Okay, well, let's get that on old business or however you want to do that, and we'll talk about it. Give us that information, go ahead and email it to us and we can look at it anytime. Okay,
Thank you, Becky.
thank you.
yeah,
Item number 17 is, discussion and possible action to approve the family farm credit applications. I think you guys have yours?
Yeah.
That's the list and
I looked at it.
they're all in. Together.
So what, there's just certain percentage of them renew every so often or something, or what?
They just signed up, they signed up a new app, they, yeah.
No, I didn't remember signing anything up, but.
Once you're signed up on a parcel, I think you keep it, but it's like if you have to have so many acres and stuff, if something, if you buy.
Is that the names you got there?
Yeah,
And what,
You're on.
explain to me exactly.
Well, that's
what that
what,
is.
that's why I was asked, cause I didn't sign
okay, the
anything.
family
I
farm,
thought
you
I
have to
was all
have 10
signed up.
acres or more to be able to sign up for the family farm, but you have to have, it's gotta be rated as ag. So the assessor's office would have to explain more to detail on that, but yes, it's agricultural land, 10 acres or more owned by the family. So if you have a piece of land here and you've got a little piece of land here, you have 40 acres here and here's like 2 acres, but they're all rated, as long as it's inside another one, you can add that. So depending on if we purchase something or that.
I mean, I looked
wanna
at
see
it,
if I was on there.
pretty to me, so.
There's no secret there.
No, I didn't.
And what the transfers are
Well,
on those and stuff like that.
Oh, maybe that's why I'm wondering, cause I transferred Jared a couple acres.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Well, I've got a book here to sign. You guys want to go ahead and approve those?
I'll make a motion to approve them.
1 second.
1 second, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, sign them right after the meeting. The last item on our agenda is the liquor license for the Junction Bar and Grill. I think is the only room. From what we understand. It's located on 28648 Highway 92.
I'll make such a motion.
Okay.
1 second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That's it, unless somebody has something they want to add. I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.